5 years had passed since my divorce, and at 43, I found myself spending each of those years in solitude during the night. Until that Tuesday night, it remains etched in my mind. As I lay in bed, the fatigue enveloping me felt like a weighty shroud. The stillness enveloped the entire house, as it often does. However, this time the tranquil stillness was fleeting. The sound of a gentle, uncertain knock echoed through the space, lingering in the air. I slowly opened my eyes and propped myself up. In the shadows of the room, an unsettling sensation lingered. "Is that you, Adrian?" I shouted out. "Mom," came my son's voice, a soft murmur in the shadows. The door let out a soft groan as Adam entered the room. He appeared hesitant in his sleepwear, yet those were no longer the garments of youth. They were associated with a 22-year-old individual. The look on his face ignited a deep-seated urge to shield him, but concurrently a sense of discomfort washed over me. "I can't sleep," he finally admitted, his gaze fixed on the ground. "Come here," I urged, gently tapping the vacant space beside me on the bed. He paused briefly, then approached and nestled beneath the blanket. The bed emitted a soft creak under his weight. In that moment, we found ourselves in close proximity, the space between us minimal yet palpable. Adrian's kindness was instantly apparent. I made an effort to avoid glancing in his direction, yet from the periphery of my vision it was undeniable that he had outgrown his childhood. He had evolved into a young man. His features had become more defined, his shoulders had expanded, and that awareness left me feeling both embarrassed and perplexed simultaneously. "Mother," he whispered, his gaze directed at me. Sometimes I find myself overwhelmed by a sense of isolation within these walls. His voice trembled with such delicacy that I found myself unable to reply. Instead, I extended my hand and gently rested it on his shoulder. In that instant, without a moment's pause, he faced me and embraced me with a firm grip. I was taken aback by the intensity of his hold. His embrace enveloped me completely, his breath warm against my skin. I could sense the rhythm of his pulse. His breath was warm and steady, yet what truly astonished me was how I instinctively mirrored that calmness. As I embraced him, an unusual sensation danced within my heart. Adrian's face inched nearer to my neck, his breath gently caressing my skin. "At times it feels overwhelming," he murmured softly. "I am present," I murmured. Consistently present. Yet, deep down, I felt a sense of unrest. My heart was pounding, and I couldn't grasp why this sensation was so intense. Adrian's actions carried a certain purity, yet his embrace enveloped me more firmly than I had imagined, his warmth more immediate than I had foreseen. "Thank you, Mom," he whispered softly. With his eyes shut, a sense of calm enveloped him, and at last his breaths became steady. He had drifted into slumber, yet I remained wide awake. As I lay there, completely motionless, a single thought continued to whirl in my mind. What on earth just occurred this evening? The embrace from Adam felt excessively personal, and what troubled me even more was my inability to simply dismiss it. As dawn broke, Adam remained in a deep slumber beside me. The initial glimmers of dawn illuminated his features. My gaze held on to him. He still appeared pure, yet within me, a storm of confusion raged. I leaned my head against the pillow and inhaled deeply. I required some time to understand the events of last night. Yet, there was an undeniable sense that this evening held a significance beyond the ordinary. The dawn broke. The gentle light filtered through the window, gradually rousing me from my slumber. In that moment, I understood that I was still burdened by the feelings that had enveloped me throughout the night. Adam remained in a profound slumber, untouched by the world around him. With a sense of deliberation, I rose from my bed and made my way to the kitchen. I required a moment of solitude, and I aimed to create something quietly, ensuring he remained undisturbed. Adam consistently rose late each morning, yet today I felt a pressing need to address the turmoil stirring within me. As I grappled with my reflections from the previous night, I began to assemble the components for pancakes. After a brief interval, Adam started to awaken. I noticed him cautiously emerging from behind the door, his gaze still drowsy and uncertain. "Morning," he said, yet his tone carried an unusual weight. His voice carried a weight of exhaustion, tempered with caution. "Good morning, dear," I said, gazing at him. I was doing everything I could to appear composed. While I flipped the pancakes, a sense of awareness washed over me, as if Adrian's attention was a palpable force in the room. His gaze held a depth that stirred something within me. His demeanor carried a hint of something more than the usual detachment. It felt as though he was observing my every action, noticing even the smallest details of my behavior. I awoke gradually, enveloped in a comforting embrace. Yet a rising discomfort began to take hold within me. Adrian's gaze, reminiscent of the previous night, was fixed on me once more this morning, yet there was an unusual depth to it this time. I observed it. His gaze wasn't merely directed at me. It was probing, searching for something deeper. They were outlining the contours of my form, and I was acutely aware of it. For a few moments, I attempted to brush off his gaze, yet I could feel that he had noticed my discomfort. Deep down, I sensed my heart beginning to race, yet I put in considerable effort to maintain my composure, striving to appear as if everything was completely ordinary. Adrian's demeanor had changed as well. Usually, he exuded a relaxed, easygoing demeanor and a sense of joy around me, but this morning there was an unmistakable barrier between us. He had established a boundary, yet it felt as though he was grappling with the bravery to cautiously step over it. His eyes, illuminated by the morning light, seemed to convey an unspoken message, yet I found myself unable to decipher it. I carefully arranged the pancakes on a plate and offered it to him with a sense of anticipation. "Relish it," I remarked with a hint of melancholy. As Adam grasped the plate, his fingers tightened momentarily, and our gazes locked for an instant. Once more, it seemed as though he was attempting to uncover something more profound within me. I caught a glimpse of the anxious expression in my own eyes, yet Adam remained silent. He simply took a seat at the table. During breakfast, he avoided direct eye contact, yet each time I shifted, his eyes would drop from the ceiling and return to me, carrying an unmistakable weight of feeling. It felt as though he was acutely attuned to every little action I took. This was an entirely new experience for us. The chaos within me intensified. A quiet voice urged me to resolve this immediately. Yet, I remained uncertain about the nature of this experience. Adrian's glances and behavior stirred a profound sense of turmoil within me. And now, in the kitchen, enveloped by the comforting aroma of pancakes, that peculiar unease remained palpable. A feeling was brewing within me, yet I held it at bay. I was acutely conscious of Adrian's gaze upon me, yet my sole desire was to fulfill my role as a mother. This morning was meant to be a simple breakfast, yet the warmth and discomfort flowing through me as the sunlight filtered in felt profoundly significant. As darkness fell, a heavy drowsiness began to settle over me. A sense of unease lingered in the air. I sensed something, yet I couldn't quite identify what it was. As the night deepened, the weight of solitude in my room intensified, yet there was a subtle change in the air. Adrian's demeanor towards me appeared to be shifting into a different realm. Gradually, I slipped into slumber, yet I noticed myself intermittently fluttering my eyelids during the night. A sense of anticipation washed over me, yet its source remained elusive. Out of nowhere, a sound pierced the silence. My eyes slowly opened, revealing the world around me. In the dimly lit space, I discerned a figure gliding quietly. A deep sensation within me quivered, taken aback. For a fleeting moment, everything faded into obscurity, but then clarity struck as I recognized that the figure was Adrian. He entered the room, the door ajar, a subtle invitation that stirred something within him. My eyes flew open and my heart raced wildly. In the stillness of the night, my son found his way into my room. Even though I was aware that sleep was expected of me, Adrian's gaze shimmered in the shadows with a fervor that echoed the previous night. For a brief instant, I attempted to center my attention. What was I meant to do? The turmoil within me intensified with each passing moment. Adrian's presence in my room at this hour was peculiar, yet it carried an unsettling resonance. This time, it felt distinct. His gaze, his presence, the way he approached me, it all conveyed significance. Adam moved ahead once more. He drew nearer, and in the dim glow of the remaining light, the moonlight, I was able to discern his features with a bit more clarity. His gaze held a level of resolve I had never witnessed before. Within me, a silent turmoil erupted. "Refrain! Cease this behavior!" But in that instant, Adam unexpectedly drew closer and connected his lips with mine. It occurred in a fleeting moment. In an instant, time stood still. Moments lingered endlessly. In that moment, it seemed as though everything was swirling around me, yet I remained still. My son, so close, yet so far. As he pressed his lips against mine, a whirlwind of feelings surged within me. This was not an outcome a parent anticipates from their offspring. In that instant, it felt as if my heart began to race uncontrollably. I swiftly recoiled and attempted to shove him away. "Hold on, please," I urged, my voice trembling. My words felt as though they dissipated into the atmosphere, barely leaving a trace. Adam withdrew, a hint of what appeared to be disillusionment flickering in his gaze, yet he remained there, imposing within the space. "Adrian, this feels off. Please refrain from this action." My voice quivered, my mind whirled, and my body was drenched in perspiration. The emotions surged within me as my son came closer, overwhelming and unmanageable. How daunting, how intricate it felt. Yet, I couldn't overlook the intensity, the concentration he directed towards me. However, this felt off. I had to stay a mother for all time, didn't I? The profound look in my son's eyes, one I had never encountered before, unsettled me profoundly. My heart raced intensely, as if it could explode, yet I understood the necessity of regaining my composure. Adam hesitated, feeling a rush of uncertainty wash over him. He stayed quiet, not uttering a sound, yet the stillness intensified in the shadows. Then Adam approached me again, pressing his lips against mine, his hands gliding down from my neck, first resting on my waist, then settling on my hips. Despite my best efforts to control my impulses, I found myself unable to hold back. That evening, whatever transpired had already unfolded. I awoke in the morning, grappling with the events that had unfolded. Adrian's absence left me feeling isolated in the room. I inhaled deeply, attempting to regain my composure. I exited the home in silence. My gaze held a certain fatigue, while my heart felt a profound void. Each step weighed on me, as if I were wandering aimlessly. As I struggled internally, the one thing I was sure of was my need to comprehend what had transpired. I found myself pondering my emotions, yet with every moment that went by, things appeared increasingly intricate. That evening, whatever transpired had already transpired. By morning, everything seemed like a fleeting illusion, so intertwined. My eyes throbbed, my heart pounded, yet I stepped outside without uttering a sound. I attempted to conceal the events that transpired between Adam and myself. In my quest for clarity, I chose to bury my feelings, attempting to wipe the slate clean. Yet there was a deep sense of unraveling within me. I found myself in a state of introspection. What caused this confusion I experienced? I felt as though I was adrift in this turmoil. My son, had transcended the innocence of childhood, but was I still perceiving him through the lens of my past? Was I deceiving myself? What steps can I take? All these thoughts continued to circulate in my mind, yet they stayed unresolved.